Hello and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host Bryan. We're going to wrap up today with a special selection, which is where one of you tell me exactly what it is I need to check out. Today's special selection comes at us from Tyler. Request for a review of Witches by Blackbird Raum. So let's dive into that. I don't think we've heard Blackbird Raum before, so I don't know what I'm in store for. I'm going to go in with as open of a mind as I can, and well, let's see what they're doing. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I can get into this. This is so good.
But it won't be the witches that are burning this time. There won't be the witches that are burning this time. There won't be the witches that are burning this time.
Oh no, did my internet die? I don't know that.
But it won't be the witches that are burning this time. There won't be the witches that are burning this time. There won't be the witches that are burning this time.
Is that a theremin or a whistle? Yes, 100%. That album is 2010. Do they have more? They have a 2023. Oh man. Is that a full album? Yes, it is. Dang, it's only 22 minutes, 9 tracks. I mean, if God, if everything is like this, I'm ready. I'm ready, ready, ready. Okay, so a long time ago, y'all asked me to give you some musical recommendations, and one of the bands that I showcased was Bridge City Sinners. Pretty much this right here. And I haven't really found anything that is on that same level. I found a lot of folk punk. Is that what we're gonna call this? But none of it has really struck the same chord as that band did. And since then, that's still pretty much the only band I go to when I want that style of music. This this could be another one that had to my list. I'm so happy. I was this Tyler? Is that what this? Oh, geez, Tyler, I owe you so much. If the rest of the music is like this track, I'm sold. Um, let's get into some analysis here. There's not a lot going on musically. We have a steel guitar as some sort of, I want to say, an upright bass given the timbre. We have a accordion, I think. Having a real tough time placing that. It's such a unique timbre, and I want to say accordion so bad, but I'm not 100% sure on it. So let me know if I'm wrong there. Um, it has volume to it though, which makes it feel air based, is which is why I go with accordion. But it just also has a very organy sound to it as far as timbre goes, and so it's an organ you push air through, and there's actually a lot of that. um, but an accordion's the first thing that comes to mind for me. Um, and there was some sort of percussion in here. It almost sounded like a washing board, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It's just a string of clattery sounds to create a quick run of attacks. Um, anyways, and that's pretty much it. All of it is designed to uh, push chord progression and rhythm to give us that waltzy 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 for the entire track, and they give us a chord progression, like I said. It is there purely as foundation. I find it interesting that Apple Music has this as singer-songwriter. Their genre naming is rarely exhaustive. They tend to do all right with electronica and pop, but once you get into rock and metal, they really don't have any subgenres here, and stuff that isn't metal tends to get a metal tag, and so it's just not great. So singer songwriter isn't what I would utilize for this, but I can see maybe where they would have come across that because the music is completely subservient to the vocal work, which is pretty indicative of singer songwriter. Simplistic music that immediately showcases the emotion or the vibe that we're supposed to be in without any necessity to dig further into what the music is doing. It is all surface level, designed to immediately let you know what you're in store for, and I think it does a great job of that. There are a couple of moments that I think are worth digging into, though, and they're all tempo based. We start off with a bit of a slower 3/4, and then we move into a quicker 3/4. I don't think it's an exact doubling, though, so I don't think it's just a concept of double time versus halftime. Um, but it does present a somber, melancholic start before giving us the energy that I think the lyrics are going to be leaning in towards. The lyrics are not going to be positive. They are still going to deal with that dreary sound, but there's going to be an energy, a drive, possibly to deal with that feeling. Again, we'll dive into that when we hit the lyrics. I don't know why I said again. I don't think I've said that yet. We'll dive into the lyrics later. What I want to focus on right now is the highlight of the track, and it is the vocal work. Very catchy melodies, beautiful harmonies, so many timbres. There is a cleanish male vocal, there is a shouty, is that what I want? It's not a clean singing voice. It is elevated, but it is not cracking. It's not moving into fry sounds at all. It's our female vocalist though, and to me it sounds like a shout. It's a slightly elevated, more air pressure than normal, forward placed sound. And so it still has a little bit of that aggression, but has is probably the most purely melodic timbre we have here, because our remaining two voices, or I should say vocalists, they use a couple of different vocal techniques, but all of them are placed rather clearly and prominently with fry. There is a harsh vocal element to them. And all of this rounds out very nicely into harmonies that feel like coloring with a full palette. It is such a rich environment for these melodies to be within, and it isn't even just that we have these singular layered melodies either. Occasionally we have single vocalists, we have multiple combinations of two or three vocalists, which allow them to paint with these different texture combinations. We also have that little bit in the chorus where we have one voice come in and do something completely different from the other group, sort of an exploration of counterpoint, but also just mainly just dual melody lines, even if one is just holding out a note for a majority of it and providing more foundational work. The texture is still present in a rhythmic and melodic fashion that's different than the core group of vocalists. And all of this comes together just gorgeously. It is an infectious sound, and they know it and they lean into it, and I can't get enough of it. Um, and that's the whole song to me. I know that's a quick analysis to it, but it really is sort of one note. The band does their thing, the vocals do their thing, and I need to listen to more of it. So let's hit some lyrics, see what's going on there. And then maybe I'm just going to spend the rest of my day, since this is the last video for today, checking out a bunch of their music. This song is about two things. There's a surface level read and a more in-depth read. The surface one it's about a group of people who they want to be protectors of those that get hunted. In the songs, we have allusions to it's not the witches who will burn this time, but we also have the allusion to wolves being hunted from people in helicopters. And they say that they won't betray the wolves, they won't betray the witches, they'll stand beside them, and it won't be the witches that burn this time. And we see a lot of this concept of says, I call them men, but they're not men. Faces like blood rags, yet dressed to the fines. Chariots surround us. It almost speaks to being an outcast to the rich and powerful, which would be pretty much all of us. And specifically their stance that they're not going to bow down and, give up or surrender their friends in nature, witches and wolves. That's what most of this track is. There is another layer, though, thanks to Sonic Hits. I don't think I would have picked this up. It is about conforming to societal norms, being blinded to the conformity, and allowing the most free-spirited and unique and self-actualized people to be eliminated to satisfy society's need for control. It's an interesting perspective that I don't know that I read 100% with, but I can see exactly where it comes from, and it actually puts a few lines into better perspective. As far as any of this fitting with the music, I don't know that anything matches here. It feels like a song that just does this, right? This is folk punk. This is the type of music they play, and they just put some lyrics on top of it. Although there is some animosity and anger in the lyrics that I think is met with the ferocity of the tempo that we hear throughout this track. Anyways, those are just my thoughts though on Blackbird Raum's Witches. Let me know what you thought of this track. Let me know down in the comments if you enjoyed this, anything that stood out to you, your thoughts and opinions, perspectives, anything like that. Above that in the description box, if you could, check out the Linktree link. It takes you to a menu where you can find my music, ways to support the channel, a link to the Discord server, and so much more. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. Alright, that wraps it up for today. Be sure to drop by tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC. As usual, we're going to wrap up this week. And until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.